Same 38-page supplier PDF, 12 questions, 1 day. Without caching, $4.20. With caching, 31 cents. If you're a solo founder running invoices, contracts, or supplier docs through Claude and your API bill keeps creeping up, you're about to see exactly why. Most tutorials argue about text versus image versus OCR extraction. They miss the real bill killer. You're resending the same PDF tokens every single query. By the end of this, you'll have the 6-line diff that drops your cost 13x. I run this in production on a client invoicing pipeline doing 400 plus PDFs a month. Let me show you the actual change. Here's the scenario almost every small business owner using Claude on documents runs into. You've got a supplier PDF, a contract, a 40-page spec, whatever. You drop it into Claude, ask a question, get an answer. Then you ask a second question, then a third. Maybe your assistant asks 4 more throughout the day. Every single one of those calls is resending the entire PDF to Anthropic servers. You're paying full input token price for the same document over and over. On a 38-page supplier doc that's around 14,000 input tokens per query. 12 queries a day, that's 168,000 tokens. At Sonnet pricing, that lands you around $4.20 per day, just for that one document. Multiply that across 30 or 40 active supplier files in a real invoicing workflow, and you understand why people quietly abandon their AI projects after the first month's bill. Now here's why most tutorials don't show you the fix. They're built around one-shot demos. Upload, ask, done. Nobody runs one-shot in production. In production, you're hitting the same documents repeatedly across a day, a week, sometimes a whole quarter for active contracts. The extraction method debate, text versus vision versus OCR, is the wrong fight. The bottleneck isn't how you read the PDF. The bottleneck is that you keep paying for it. The fix is prompt caching. Anthropic added it to the API, and almost nobody talks about it because it doesn't sound exciting. It is exciting when you see the bill. Here's how it works. You attach a cache control flag to the content block holding your PDF. The first call pays a small premium, about 25% more, to write that content into Anthropic's cache. Every call after that, for the next 5 minutes, reads from cache at roughly 1/10 the input price. Same answer quality, same model, same everything. Just radically cheaper. Let me walk you through the actual change. If you're using the Python SDK, you build your messages list the way you always do, with the PDF as a document content block. The only difference is you add a cache control field set to ephemeral on that block. That's it. 6 lines of diff at most. The model sees the document, processes it the first time, and Anthropic holds the process state in a hot cache for 5 minutes. Any follow-up request that includes the exact same block, byte for byte, hits the cache. You'll see it in the API response. There's a usage field that breaks out cache creation input tokens and cache read input tokens. Cache reads are the cheap ones. That's how you confirm it's actually working, not just hoping. Here's the practical pattern I use on a live invoice automation pipeline. When a supplier PDF lands in the inbox, we don't ask one question and walk away. We batch. We extract the header, the line items, the totals, the VAT breakdown, the payment terms, the due date, in a sequence of calls within the same 5-minute window. First call writes the cache. Calls 2 through 7 all read it. The whole sequence runs for cents instead of dollars. On the dashboard for that client's pipeline, the monthly Anthropic bill went from $190 to $44 after we switched. Same volume, around 400 invoices a month. Same model, same accuracy. Just smarter token economics. Now the catch, because there's always one. The cash TTL is 5 minutes. If you ask one question, walk away for an hour, come back and ask another. You've paid the cash right premium for nothing. Caching is a batching strategy, not a magic discount. So before you bolt it on, look at your workflow. If you query the same document multiple times in a tight window, caching is a no-brainer. If your usage is genuinely one-off, like a customer uploads a PDF, you ask one question, you never see that PDF again. Skip caching. You'll actually pay more. The other gotcha is the block has to match exactly. If you regenerate your system prompt, change a date, swap a variable, the cache misses and you pay the right cost again. Keep your cacheable blocks stable. Put dynamic content in separate blocks after the cached one. Anthropic caches prefix, so anything before the dynamic part stays hot. That's the whole technique. Drop a cache control flag on the document. Batch your queries inside the 5-minute window. Watch the usage field to confirm cache hits, and structure your prompts so the heavy static content sits at the top. If you want to see the full caching wrapper we use in production invoice and contract pipelines, it's on BizflowAI.io, along with the rest of the systems we ship for clients. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next breakdown finds you. And if you've got a PDF-heavy workflow easing your time or your API budget, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io, and I'll tell you straight whether caching, batching, or a full rebuild is what you actually need.